Well, good evening to all of you. So, I assume that y'all have been seeing the YouTube video about Charlie Crist, how he ran away to Washington, was the worst governor in the history of the world. Well, I'd like to point out a few little things. Let's start with the 832,000 jobs lost. Well, down here in Florida, our primary industry is tourism and agriculture and tourism. Well, what happens to tourism when people's disposable income goes away? That's the first thing that's sacrificed. So I'm not surprised that there were 832,000 jobs lost after this economic crash, which, by the way, originated under the Republican watch, and for the past 8 years we've been trying to recover from. So, there's a truth, yes, we lost 832,000 jobs. The additional truth that the GOP doesn't tell you is we'd have lost those same 832,000 jobs regardless of who was in office. Now, we'll go to the mortgages, past foreclosure rate. Again, people buy vacation homes in Florida. That requires disposable income. With the crash and the loss of investments that occurred, people simply couldn't afford their homes, or that second home, or the vacation home. Well, as a result, of course, they get foreclosed, property sits vacant, things have to recover. This leads to property value loss, which is a guarantee. Florida's prices were artificially high anyway to start with due to demand because of the climate, and everybody feeling good until the economy crashed. Again, this would have happened regardless of who was in office. It's not exclusive to Charlie Crist. Now, Florida borrowing money. All right? Again, this comes down to disposable income. Florida does not have a state income tax. All they have are property taxes, vehicle taxes, and sales tax. Essentially all use taxes. Now, sales tax, most of that support used to come from tourists coming down here in Florida. So when disposable income went away and people couldn't come to Florida for their winter vacations, tax revenues fell. So since the state has X amount of dollars they have to budget for to support the state police, local police, municipalities, various services that they are obligated to, they had to borrow money. That simple. Again, it's a statistic thrown out with no context, just like everything else that I've been talking about so far. And statistics is an art which can be used or abused. In this case, it's abuse. The GOP doesn't give you the context. They just throw this bald statistic out and hope you're going to assume that it's Charlie Crist's fault. Now, finally, we come to his running away. He tried to run for Senate. Now, for those of you that have studied political science, you know the senators really aren't there to pass laws. They're there actually to bring home pork. That's bringing home federal dollars. Charlie Crist tried to go to Washington to get himself in a position where he could pull in federal dollars. Bring home the pork, bring home the bacon. And again, the Republicans throw this bald fact out with no context and hope that our attention span is short enough. Do you really enjoy being treated like you're stupid? I know I don't. So, I don't care who you vote for. I'm not supporting any particular candidate at this point. But I am pointing out the fact that the GOP is telling us essentially bald-faced lies using the unvarnished truth with no context. And I'll tell you, it's a real art telling a lie with truth. But that is what it is. And it's despicable tactics. And GOP leadership I'm very disappointed with you. Thanks for everybody listening to my little rant. I hope you listen to what I say and think about it. And in the meantime, y'all have a good night, and when election time comes, vote your conscience. That's simple.